Going on, boys and girls, and welcome back to another video. So to pick up where we left off after we were sort of wrenching on both skylines, we're now going to put our focus back into the white car. The red car still needs the rear quarter painted there, but with no real sign of when any drift days are sort of coming up soon, I'm kind of thinking that we're just going to leave that on the sideline until we get our new body kit made up. We're just going to push the painting off to the side for now. I feel like all I've done is bloody abuse the paint booth outside for the longest time, so I'm quite happy to give it a break. And not to mention, it's bloody hot at the moment, so can't really be bothered sweating my dick off out there, which is all too convenient, to be honest, because as I mentioned, we really want to get the streetcar project moving. But before we go any further with today's video, I want to give a massive shout out to Stealth Ride. Now, this is a bit of an unofficial, official sponsorship segment that I have wanted to do in return for them giving us an absolutely insane deal on an ECU for our RB25 R32 streetcar. I have been buying parts from Stealth Ride for a very long time now. Half of the parts that are on the red drift car have come from Stealth Ride. They have absolutely every single brand you could ever think of, from AN fittings to turbos to ECUs to cooling, you name it, Stealth Ride have got it. So I wanted to give a massive shout out to Steve from Stealth Ride for hooking us up with a gangster deal on getting this R32 started. Now stick around to the end of the video as we'll go over the ECU and what we're doing for that. So grab a space, sit back and enjoy the video. The last couple of weeks we've sort of been putting a bit of time and money into this thing, getting it all finalised. We started on the fuel system and we've started running some oil lines for the turbo. Got a few other bits and pieces to go over here, but I thought what we'd do today is we'll start at the back. We'll slowly go over what I've done. It's basically a whole lot of like finicky little jobs that I guess all I'm kind of doing at the moment is putting off purchasing all the big ticket items, which we will touch on towards the end of the video. So what we have started here, we have changed out the rear seats, but basically this thing came with leather seats in the rear, which I wasn't really too much of a fan of. After talking to a few people and doing a bit of research online, it would appear that they most likely were out of an A31 Zafiro. They were close to fitting, but they just weren't quite right, and that kind of shit bothers me. It was about probably 30-40 mil just shy either side. These are GDST rears for a sedan that I've had sitting under the house for a while. Got them in a parts car. Actually, they came out of the Rivet 32, if you remember that. It's still got a little bit of a reminder here from when we caught the rear windscreen on fire of that car. Those of you that will know. I think it's like 6th video ever made. Go back and watch that if you really want to. So yeah, we've got these seats in here now, and also we have made a bit of a go at repairing the C-pillar trims. So people in New Zealand will know what I mean. I feel like it was a New Zealand only problem, probably Australia too, because you guys get hot as dick weather. But everyone that I've been posting videos to online about C-pillar trims breaking and like effectively all of them being broken, everyone from America, Japan, all sorts of countries have been messaging me saying, what are you doing? Like, why are they broken? It's the fact that these things have been left outside for so long, and obviously the plastic that's on the inside of these things becomes brittle, and obviously people come and try to pull them out many years later, and then people like most of us these days would take them in and out 3 or 4 times, and they just fall to pieces. So a little trick that I've come up with is basically to fiberglass the back side of them. So these things were pretty good. These ones weren't too bad. You can definitely see the signs of where the cracks were, but they were very easily savable. So yeah, I'll show some others that I've got over here. I've recently repaired as well. And these were absolutely folded in multiple pieces. So now resurrected back together, you can sort of see what's involved. Basically, this is all dried now, but this is all just like a polyester resin, and you just go through it on the cracks. It's obviously pretty self-explanatory of what you might do to fix them, but definitely a trick for young players, because these things are not cheap these days. I've seen sets, like mint condition sets, go for, you know, anywhere upwards of $500. So if anyone is after C-pillar trims, bang my line. I'm not going to use these, so I'm pretty much just going to say highest offer takes them. I'm not really after the world for them, but I know that a lot of people are always looking for these, and they always go super quick. So between C-pillar trims and the leather rear seats that were in the back of this car, hit me up on Instagram. Going cheap. Moving forward into the front compartment, we did take a bit of a mission up to see Nate. I think it was Nate, the bro Nate. Shout out Nate. He had a parts R32, so we cruised up there. Absolute typical RFB sort of garage going on. There was bloody few birds in the back of one hanging out, and there was a bunch of bros just chilling, patrols on the driveway and shit. It's pretty classic. And he had a bunch of shit that he was getting rid of, so we managed to nab this pretty mint center console surround. I also have the old center console surround if someone wants that as well. So that'll be going cheap too. Then we go to the driver's side. We picked ourselves up a Nardi. I really was in two minds about buying a new one, especially because the new HKS one has just come out. The new HKS Deep Corn. If you know, you know, but I'm not quite, I'm just not that baller or that stupid, I don't know. This is what we managed to nab. We got this pretty cheap off Yahoo Auctions. It's starting to feel a little bit nicer now. The one that was in there was awfully ratty. This thing turned up with a rep HKS horn button, so that spiraled into a whole escapade of searching for horn buttons, didn't it? And this is what we kind of ended up with. So and then another thing that we had to do was assess the clutch pedal. Now the clutch pedal that came with the car was it was awfully questionable. Very interesting way to modify a clutch pedal, I would say. It clearly just wasn't from this car, I think, and it looked like someone had really done their finest to make it work. So it was, yeah, welded in all sorts of places. There was a little bit of flat bar in there. Yeah, I mean, good on you for giving it a nudge, mate, but holy fuck, what a piece of work. So we have got our new OEM clutch pedal in here now. Obviously not really much to see, but it looks like a clutch pedal. Kind of springs back as opposed to the other one. And then we have then, of course, haven't put it in yet, our drive-by-wire pedal has turned up now too. So a little hack for people that wanted to run drive-by-wire on your S chassis, R chassis, I presume S chassis are the same, is to just get a 350Z pedal and it bolts straight in. So this is by far the best thing that I've come up with, or the best solution. I've run one in the red car for the last year now, and just so good. Doesn't even feel like an aftermarket pedal. These things are the move. They come with a plug. All you do is just match the wires, and then you are away laughing. Moving on into the engine bay, we have been making fuel lines. So I feel like everyone has made an AN line by this point, but I'll go through basically what I've done. So a little trick that you can do to convert everything to AN is to run the hard line to AN adapters. So it usually works out best that you can use that for the return, so you can come straight off the rig and you can just make a little AN line that'll go straight in there. The only push lock fitting or piece of hose that we will be using will be this guy in here. It'll be a awfully short little number, just from that one there up into the bottom of the fuel filter, and then obviously you are good from there. So then you can come off, you can go 90. I've made this line, as you can see here, to the rail, and then from the back of the rail to your rig, and then out, and then off you go. So it was a little bit tricky. I did this a little bit of a different way. I didn't want it on display as much as I did with the red car. I've really gone for the OG style with the big rig and the big gauge, which is definitely cool, and I'm glad that I've done it this way. It's kind of like the theme of the bay, I guess you could say. It's very early 2000s kind of spec with kind of everything on show, and you know, you can look down at the gauge and see what you're doing. But with the white car, I kind of want to try and keep the strut towers bare if possible. I'll just run a fuel pressure sensor straight off the rig this time. So that's the fueling system. We're waiting for a few more fittings to come in, and then we can finish that off. And then over to our turbo side, we have just been making the oil feed and oil drain. So what we've done is we've just run a -10 drain with I guess it's like a 30-degree bend off the turbo. Kind of was the best way to go to give us clearance down and around in there, to another 30-degree fitting there, which then goes into the block. And then for our feed, we've just got a hard 90 to a -4 line, which then comes up and around, and then into another 90, which will obviously feed the top of the turbo. That's what we've got going on there. And then the latest little project that we've been mucking around with is this damn bonnet latch. So some of you will know that have mounted a GDR bonnet to a GDST, GTE body before, is that the catch on the bonnet sits a lot further back than the catch on a bonnet of a GDST car. And the obvious solution is that you would just get a GDR bonnet latch stay. But they literally don't exist. If you scroll the auctions in Japan or wherever you're looking for one, you'll basically find that they are horrific amounts of money, and it's really not worth it for an upstandard piece of steel to hold your bonnet latch. So what we've done here is we basically cut and modified a factory one to suit. Now it was a little bit of a process, and it did take a fair bit of mucking around. I even got this marvelous piece here out of Japan that was listed as a modified GDST stay to suit GTST. This thing was going nowhere near the car, but at least gave me some kind of insight. I think it cost me about 100 yen, which is like, I don't know, it was bugger all. I think it cost me 10 bucks, and then it was like 50 bucks to get it here. But it gave us an idea of the position that it needed to be and the fact that it would work. So I'd never seen this done before. I'm sure plenty of people have done this. It has to be the only way around it. But basically you end up with a shortened latch support. So you can tell there, the size of that hole is far smaller than the size of that hole. And I'm pretty bloody wrapped with how she's ended up, to be honest. Pretty damn stoked with this little piece, if I don't say so myself. And obviously it means that we can get our beautiful bloody zinc coated latch on there too. So you all know how much we love a bloody zinc coated part around here. So quite stoked to have that little number in there. We have run our main feed line for the battery through the car now, all the way to the boot. So this is how I've always kind of done it, is to basically make a little post just in here, and then you can power all your accessories and all your stuff off that. So you've got your new feed in, and then basically your old feed out, which would usually go to your battery, and then your one wire there, which gives power to the fuse box, and then it also gives you a spot that you can run any added 12 volts in the bay from as well. So it really does beg the question of what's next on the chopping block. And that's right, you guessed it, it is time to get into the ECU. That's right, of course, we have gone with a Max ECU. I have been a big fan of Max ECU products for a while now. We run the race in the red car, and it has been nothing but flawless. Another great thing about it is it's super user-friendly. We basically get like a DIY harness that comes with it, and everything is already pre-pinned into the connector there. Everything kind of has a home already as well. Kind of gives you an idea of what you might use some of the outputs and inputs for. For this application, we have gone with the Sport. So this is sort of like the middle tier, I believe. So it goes Pro, Race, and then the Sport. And this little puppy should be all we need to run everything in this guy here. It does have built-in drive-by-wire, so that was basically the main reason why I went for this. And it's basically just got everything that we're going to need. So, you know, you've got your built-in wideband sensor, it's Bluetooth, it's basically all the good shit that you might ever want if you did want to run the tablet dash. I'm still in two minds whether I want to run a tablet style dash like I've got in the red car with the head unit, double DIN sort of set up as the radio / dash. But as far as the ECU goes, this is going to be perfect for our application. So obviously this was supplied by Stealth Ride, so once again, massive shout out to them for hooking this up. You all know with kind of builds like this, any little bit of money that you can save is huge. These things literally bleed you dry, so bloody stoked about that. And thanks again, Steve, mate, you're a legend. So next comes the fun part of mounting it. Now with the drift car, didn't really matter, you know, we could just whack it wherever we want. We got no heater core in there, like so, and that is pretty much good enough for that. But in this car we have all our OEM features, because after all it is a street car. We're just gonna try and have to mount it somewhere in here, I'm thinking, as close to the OEM position as possible. Obviously there's still like a toe kick or so, like a side panel plastic piece that goes here, but if we can tuck it up in there somehow, try and figure out where we can do it. We still need to run like a little fuse box relay panel in there too, to give power and do all of the good things that we need it to do. But that will pretty much do it for this one anyway, guys. Thank you very much for watching. It's just been a shitload of talking this time, but that's what you get sometimes. So once again, massive thanks to Stealth Ride for coming on board and hooking this up. And we will see you next time when we can start finally wiring this thing up, and we are one step closer to going for a black down the road and to the pub. Until then, peace. We'll be right back.